I think the mobile network is haunted. I was having problems with my mobile phone after changing companies due to some hefty bills I was getting. I kept the same phone, but transferred my account to a different provider, simply to save me some money. I could get a better deal, much more internet data, 1,000 minutes on calls, and pretty much endless texts. I was happy. I'm admittedly one of those annoying people you'll see with their mobile phones in hand all the time. I'm on it a lot, for one reason or another. After a couple weeks with the new network, things started to go a little weird on my mobile phone. I had a text come through. It was from a random number, not a named contact, and it said something like this. "We hope you are happy with your service. To tell us how we did recently on your telephone call to us, please be willing to answer these survey questions." It's true. I had phoned them recently to discuss my account. I'd seen this sort of thing before, from TV companies and phone companies. I wasn't bothered by it, except that 3 separate texts then came through saying the following. 1. Did our customer service assistant answer your telephone query satisfactorily? 2. Would you be happy to recommend us and our services to friends and family? 3. Pinky still sees you. I read that last text and almost threw the phone down. Pinky, a nickname, his real first name was Peter and I jokingly called him Pinky, which depending on his mood either pissed him off or made him smile. Was a friend of mine who had passed away almost 2 years ago. We were close friends, not romantically involved, but more like siblings. We'd gone to the same high school and same college and had stayed in touch, meeting up regularly. Always messaging each other on our phones. We were both phone geeks, I guess you could say. Well, he died in a car accident. Not his fault. Another car had driven out of control and Pinky happened to be the unlucky one who was thrown off the road in his car. He survived for a few days, but died later from massive injuries in the hospital. That was one hell of a dark, dark time. He was my friend. My brother, really. It was such a massive loss. One that's still hard to get my head around. So I read that last text again. Pinky still sees you. I was creeped out, but I was also a bit angry. I wondered if it wasn't the phone company contacting me after all, but maybe a friend messing about. Some kind of cruel joke. I don't know. Nobody in my life fit that profile. Someone who would do something to unnerve me like that, you know? Doing the only thing I could do, I replied to the text and said, "Who is this?" There was no reply for about 30 minutes. I put the phone down, went to the kitchen to grab a drink, and made something to eat. After a while, I heard a beep on my phone. I picked it up and read the reply from that original unknown number. Pinky still hears you. By now, I was a massive mix of emotions. Yes, I was annoyed, because I didn't know who or what was messing about with me, or why. But I was also a bit frightened, I admit. Pinky was dead. 2 years dead. I did the only thing I could think of at this stage, and I tried to phone the number that had texted me. It diverted me to a main menu. And yes, it did sound like a regular phone company menu. To give you the general gist of it, an automated cheerful-sounding female voice says, "To talk about your account details and billing, please press 1. To make a payment on your account, please press 2. To report your phone lost or stolen, please press 3. For all other inquiries, please press 4. The line went silent, as if it was waiting for my response. I didn't know what to do, so I was about to disconnect the call when I heard a burst of static and a weird whooshing noise, like a person calling from a car or through a bad storm or connection. I lifted it again to my ear, and after a moment, the automated voice piped up again in a really cheerful, professional way. "Pinky is with you." I swear that in the background, I could hear a male voice calling out hello to me, but it sounded distant, as if from miles away. I hung up and threw the phone across the room. I felt sick. What do you do with something like this? I thought of my options. Take down the number and go to the police. I discounted that. I hadn't been threatened or hurt. It'd be a prank in their eyes, surely. I thought about simply blocking the number, which sounded like the best option. But before that, I had one thing I wanted to do. I went over to the other side of the room, picked up the phone, and copy-pasted the phone number into a search engine. This couldn't be the number of a professional phone service, but it could possibly link somewhere. I waited, and then the window filled up with results. It came up with nothing of any help. No numbers, no names, no locations. Just random numbers that were similar, and the occasional website boasting things like, "Track who called me." My last option. I checked online the phone number of my mobile customer service, and it was not the same number as the number that texted me. So it definitely wasn't the company. Not that I thought it was at this stage. This meant a few things. Someone random knew I'd phoned the phone company recently. Had they listened in somehow? And someone knew about my loss of Pinky and was messing with me. Another option. That it was Pinky, somehow sending that message to me via mobile service. But that was one option I didn't want to comprehend. To some it might seem comforting. To me it felt disturbing. I decided I was just going to block the number and just try to forget about it and move on. This had to simply be one of those blips in reality. A strange thing or a weird coincidence. Nothing could be done, really, could it? I flipped through the screen, found the number, and was about to press block contact, when one more text symbol appeared at the top along the usual beep. I decided to look. I felt like I had to. Pinky is always with you now. That was enough for me. I threw the phone away. I stamped on it, broke it, and threw it into a bin in town. Only now, I'm too frightened to own another one. I just can't be near one. I'm frightened of phoning up the network or of hearing that voice-activated menu mention Pinky's name again. The worst thing is, sometimes at night, when I'm trying to sleep, I still hear text alert beeps. But there's no phone anymore. So how is it happening?